When Tim first started having episodes, he was 2. And we thought it was the terrible twos. He was a kid who couldn't be consoled. He seemed to throw a fit at a drop of a hat for no apparent reason. He had very little language at that age. So we weren't exactly sure what was going on. We had pediatricians tell us that he has an older brother who speaks for him, so that's why his language isn't very good. We had pediatricians tell us it was just the typical separation anxiety and things you go through with a toddler. When he got a little bit older, we kept trying to figure out what we could pin it on. We went to a specialist, a neuropsych specialist, to see if he had autism, for example, and he doesn't have the markers for autism. We would do chromosomal testing to see if he had Fragile X syndrome, and all those things came up negative. We didn't know what was going on. And it's much more difficult, I think, when you have a child with a mental illness. I couldn't even get his therapist to tell us that he had a mental illness. We took him to a therapist because the school district suggested we take him to a therapist, but they never mentioned a mood disorder or a mental illness of any kind. His therapist sat us down one day and said, "Your son needs to be in a psychiatric hospital, and it won't be the only time in his life he will be," but she would never tell us why. He was our middle child. We'd already had an older brother who was a pretty normal, neurotypical kid. So we had no idea what we were dealing with, and we couldn't get a professional to help us until he tried to kill himself.